What if Dumbledore lived and led the final battle? Let's explore it in the video, with canon stakes and consequences laid bare. Night licks the lightning-struck stone of the Astronomy Tower. Rain hisses on shattered slate. The wand hand that once steadied the school trembles, but the blue eyes stay clear. Draco's breath fogs, wand pointed. A boy turned knife, fear bright as the moon.
Lower your wand.
I beg to differ. You have already taken it.
The green flash the world expects never comes. Instead, the flare of a cadavra mimic charm, light without the killing core, and then a second whisper of magic, a resto momentum, slung beneath Dumbledore's falling silhouette like invisible hands. Panels splinter, the fall slows. A final veil of phoenix-bright sparks scatters the roofline. To the Death Eaters, it looks like death. To the castle, it feels like a breath held.
Be dead, Headmaster, convincingly.
Dumbledore slips through a rune-shadowed trapdoor Aberforth opened years ago for smuggling butterbeer and broken-hearted students. Stone swallows him. Thunder erases the deed. Above, the Death Eaters flee in triumph, telling the night that Hogwarts is headless.
The castle is mine.
The Ministry's whisper net tilts toward panic. Governors draft obituaries and obedience oaths. Families bolt their doors. Many raise wands to the dark mark and pretend they always meant to. Dumbledore lies beneath the tower, ribs aching, wand a dim star in his fist. He understands the worst of it immediately. Draco's disarming has already broken the Elder Wand's allegiance. The wand he holds will never truly sing for him again. The myth has rolled on without him. Power is unmoored.
You breathing? For the moment. We have exchanged the neatness of a good death for the mess of survival.
He chooses hiding. He chooses secrecy. He chooses to make Snape's enmity look perfect. The price is trust. The question seeds itself like nettles. If a life is saved by a lie, how long can the lie rule? However, as thunder fades, the Elder Wand sits quiet in his palm, mastered elsewhere, already turning its face to the boy fate keeps choosing. The tower's stone throat opens into a cramped cellar behind the hogshead. The smell is old wool, spilled ale, goats. Aberforth bars the door and shoves a blanket at the most dangerous man in Britain.
You've bought a tale you can't tidy. Snape?
Inside the wolf's teeth, exactly where we need him.
And the children?
In the hands of a better shepherd.
He means Minerva. Upstairs, a fire snaps like a reprimand. Downstairs, maps unfurl across a scarred table. Orders go out on whispered patronuses. Names answer from the dark. McGonagall arrives tight as a bowstring, rain on her hat brim, anger folded into poise.
You put the whole school under a fiction.
I put it under a plan.
Then give me the truth of it.
He gives her enough. Snape's function, the need for delay, the promise that he will not let Hogwarts burn for a performance. He holds back the Hallows. He holds back the way the wand in his hand is not truly his anymore. Gatekeeper. He has always been very good at doors. The Order reconvenes in the stale amber of the Hogshead's back room. Kingsley's voice is level. Lupin's is frayed with sleeplessness. Fred and George speak in tandem like dueling sparks. Molly's eyes are the line between fear and fury.
We fight, or we aren't us.
We need sequence, not swagger.
Sequence with swagger?
We need the locket.
He explains what Grimmauld Place and creature already spat up. Mundungus, Umbridge, the locket that bites at the throat of the Ministry. Dumbledore nods. The first blow will not be against a person, but a piece of soul pretending to be jewelry. It is cleaner. It is harder.
If we free the Ministry from a trinket, we loosen the noose.
And the students?
Yours. Keep them moving. Keep them small. Build a web.
So the DA seeds itself again. Luna smiles, as if she already sees the lines. Neville plants his feet and plants his flags. Ginny listens, then starts quietly sharpening her courage into plans. At Spinner's End, rain snakes down black brick. Snape receives Yaxley with languid contempt, the kind that signals safety to bullies. After, alone, he breathes once, twice, and lets a doe slip from his wand. It runs like moonlight to a place the Order can find.
By moonlight only.
At Grimmauld Place, mildew and memory bicker. Creature clutches the air as if the locket still hung there. Harry kneels to him and says, "Please." Hermione lays out the ministry schedule. Umbridge's arbitration court, her tea, her roots. Ron scratches a rough map with a butter knife and mutters about atrium guards.
Master Regulus broke his heart for that thing.
So we'll break it.
Without breaking the clerks who fetch the parchment.
Ethos number 1 fixes itself in that breath. No lethal spells among civilians. No collapsing corridors with the wrong people inside them. Principle sets the perimeter of strategy. Meanwhile, Malfoy Manor gleams like a knife on the countryside. Narcissa's eyes are stormlight. Draco's hands shake when he steadies his cufflinks.
You did what he asked.
I did enough to live.
Survival is the only confession worth making in that house.
He preserves Draco with small, surgical lies to Voldemort, keeping the wand's living allegiance path intact. The warlord's attention slides toward the Elder Wand instead, to vaults and tombs and legends. Good. Let him chase symbols. The burrow hums with life under wardlight. A field meeting glows like a lantern-lit fair. Weasleys, Tonks, Lupin, Diggle, a half-dozen others you'd trust to hold a line. Dumbledore watches from the fence line, face hooded, listening to the family argue themselves toward the inevitable.
If the children fight, it will be because the adults failed.
Then we will fail better, together.
DA meets Thursday. Tell nobody you love.
In the castle itself, the stairs grind and shuffle like old soldiers clearing ranks. McGonagall walks the corridors with maps inside her eyes. Filch mutters about rules. She gives him tasks that feel like rules and are really defenses. Portraits lean out to listen. The suits of armor lean in to learn.
If we draw the stars on the correct walls, the corridors remember.
Then we give the castle a memory it can use.
Back at the Hogshead map table, the lines tighten into a plan. The locket first, the cup later. The diadem, somewhere in the thickets of the room of requirement, waits like a bad thought. Nagini coils at the warlord's heel.
Trust us with the whole of it.
Mercy is not softness, it is strategy.
He gives them less than whole and more than nothing. That has always been his way. He hates that it still works. Scoreboard V1 Allies. 2. Order of the Phoenix, Dumbledore's Army. Intel. 1. Umbridge Locket Route. Artifacts. 0. Sword inaccessible. Horcruxes destroyed. 2-7. Diary. Ring. The night before the Ministry strike, Dumbledore stands alone under the rafters of the Hog's Head, listening to the building. It creaks like an old sailboat, ready to lean into war.
We free a throat, then we free a country.
He blows out the lamp and walks toward London. Audit of wandlore. Dusty shelves stand empty, where Ollivander once lectured in, whispers. The law remains without him. Dumbledore sketches the Elder Wand's legend in 6 lines and stops before the Hallows Circle, keeping the triangle's truth for later. Goblin etiquette drill. Bill Weasley lays out Gringotts like a trap with its springs visible, vault signatures, catastrophic fines for reappropriation, and the fatal insult of assuming wands make owners. Hermione takes notes like a diplomat, preparing for a war she'd rather talk through. Giant parley. Hagrid returns from the mountains with mud up to his knees and a grin hiding bruises. 2 clans agree to step back from the field if Hogwarts stays shy of Dragonfire. It is not friendship, but it is absence. And absence can be a gift. The sword's secret. Snape's doe glides across a forest tarn and sinks without ripples. Under Hogwarts's roots, The goblin-wrought blade waits where courage must dive rather than reach. Basilisk venom sleeps along its edge, a promise sealed by a chamber the school tries to forget. The DA web, chalk sigils bloom near hidden doors, broomstar constellations that shift nightly. Passwords taste like astronomy tests. Luna ties a blue ribbon around a banister. No one notices until they need it. Neville drills, dueling like he's teaching ploughing. Steady, patient, relentless. Taboo test. Hermione sets Voldemort to sting only where she can measure it, then marks maps with red wax seals that bubble when snatchers are near. Ron says the wax looks like jam. No one laughs. Forest accord. Centaurs step out of shadow and draw their bows down, not up. They promise warning shots and boundaries that will hold until children cry. Their leader says, "We will not be pawns." Dumbledore replies, "Then be neighbors." The music of preparation plays. Parchment rasp, boot leather, the creak of wands in old holsters. A country inhales before shouting. The ministry smells like steam-polished stone and fear. Propaganda posters breathe on the atrium walls, their eyes tracking. The fountain of magical brethren looms like a sermon no one believes. Dumbledore is a maintenance wizard in a scuffed brown coat, a brush slung over his shoulder like a relic. The disguise is not the trick. The trick is the Patronus veil he set in a service corridor at dawn. A phoenix-shaped blur that will scramble registration quills and smear faces for 5 minutes if you walk through it singing a lullaby only staff learned 30 years ago. He hums it without thinking. Somewhere, a quill hiccups. Harry, Hermione, and Ron walk ahead in polyjuice paleness. Their steps are too even. Their eyes know it.
Umbridge is seated at 10.
Level 2 stairs are watched.
We don't make a scene.
We make a way.
The Hall of Magical Law is a moor lined with chairs and accusation. Umbridge presides with the glee of someone who has mistaken cruelty for competence. A locket gleams at her throat, smug as a seated tyrant.
Names will be verified. Wandwood will be verified. Heritage will be verified.
Dumbledore shuffles a broom. A guard stops him. The wand in Dumbledore's sleeve is the Elder Wand, and it feels nothing for him now, so he does not ask much of it. He asks the brooms instead. Floors obey him even when myths refuse. He accidentally upends a bucket. Water skates toward the registry desk, then leaps in sheets up the walls. A mural shouts, "Thieves!" The ceiling of clocks ripples. Time pulls at hair and hems. Auras lunge, pulled left by spells that lag then surge, mistimed by the shifting ticks. The Patronus veil hums, faces smear, eyes blur, and half the clerks vanish from the record books without moving a step.
Now.
They move through the crush, Ron cursing the lift for its cheerful voice as it insists on stopping at every misnumbered floor. Hermione keeps her wand down and her eyes up, calculating pathways like a chessboard that bites. Dementors pour in from the levels below, breath like winter in a tomb. The veil attenuates Patronuses. A silver otter flickers and shudders like a dying bulb. The atrium temperature plunges. Clerks sob. A teacup cracks itself in fear. Ethos number 2 arrives with cold fingers. The easy move would be to collapse the corridor. Kill the Dementors. Kill the Death Eaters pursuing. Kill 4 clerks trying to hide. Dumbledore rejects it.
We break idols, not bones.
He whips his broom like a conductor's baton. The fountain of magical brethren shudders, then explodes into soaring shards of wet bronze. Centaur, witch, wizard, elf all liquefy into a sprawling, gleaming barricade that herds civilians toward green flames. The water surges into a sheet of mirror that Dementors hate to cross. They faint, and the mirror bends back like spine, unbroken. Umbridge claws at her locket.
Authority sits where I sit.
That's the problem.
Ron lunges, his hand closes on the chain. A defensive jinx bites his palm to the bone. Harry slams the clasp, Hermione chants, and the chain surrenders with a sound like a sob. The air sharpens. A new presence steps into it like a knife in velvet.
How untidy.
He duels Dumbledore without a word. Glass screams, water turns to steam. Time stutters as the clocks try to catch two wizards who refuse to stay inside minutes. Their wands move like arguments. For everyone watching, it is hatred made visible. The fallen headmaster and his Judas snarling in the guts of government.
2 minutes left. Go.
Next time, fewer flourishes.
They trade a blow that shatters the registry desk and sprays splinters like confetti. Auras cheer for the wrong reasons. Hermione drags Ron. Harry steadies the locket in his pocket and tastes copper. The veil gutters. Dementors crowd the atrium mouth, mouths yawning for a kiss. A clerk stumbles. Dumbledore steps between that mouth and that breath. The Dementor takes him to the edge. The world leeches. Hogwarts recedes. He summons not a phoenix, but a small, stubborn light, something like a candle cupped in winter hands. It expands. Daylight paints the ceiling. Taking the hit costs him a piece of himself. He pays and walks away. They escape through a maintenance flue Dumbledore, hexed to mislabel destinations. Instead of the senior undersecretary's office, it spits them into a coal cellar where Aberforth keeps emergency butterbeer and more serious things in brown bottles. They collapse, locket in Harry's hand. The order is one Horcrux heavier, and Dumbledore's cover as a ghost who refuses to lie down is confirmed. Snape's fiction rises in value. Public rumor grows fangs. The heist did not kill anyone who didn't deserve it. It did not save everyone either. Cost paid, line held. The great hall wears war like old stone wears ivy. Sun stripes the tables. Owls are quieter than they used to be. A black envelope burns through stained glass and lands on the head table like a coal that refuses to die. The seal opens itself. Ink writhes into a voice everyone knows.
Headmistress McGonagall, professors, children, you have lived long on borrowed courage. Return the boy. Return the secrets this school still hoards. Stand aside, and I will be merciful.
His mercy is a knife with a handle made of promises.
He bargains with hostages.
A truce to regroup saves lives.
He's asking for Harry and all of us by another name.
A lie doesn't stop being a lie when it's polite.
A silver doe glides across the flagstones, dissolves, and leaves a single slipping line of ink that writes itself into words.
He seeks the wand, not the boy.
Accepting frames him as the ruler of fear. We would govern as his prefects.
If I go by my choice.
McGonagall's eyes move from Harry to Dumbledore. He has stepped into the light because he must. Whispers whip like scarves. Gasps crack like plates. Some students cry. Some stand taller.
Protecting children with secrets is still using them.
It lands like a slap on Dumbledore's conscience. He bows his head into it and does not dodge.
Then no more secrets. Not after tonight. We reject his terms here and now. And before dawn I will put the whole truth in the hands that must carry it.
He lifts his face to the floating ink voice.
This school will not kneel.
Then it will burn.
The voice gutters. The paper becomes a harmless curl of ash, falling onto a plate as if someone overcooked a toast soldier. They prepare the children without telling them they are children. Wards thicken. Passageways learn new names. Faculty walk with their sleeves rolled. Portraits gossip into service as runners. The castle takes its breath before a shout. That night, by candlelight at Shell Cottage, and under a tarp of grief for those already taken, Dumbledore lays the Hallows on the table beside bread and maps. The cloak's legacy, the stone's trap, the wand's arrogance. He admits temptation and failure with the same voice he uses for weather reports, factual and unflinching.
Tell me all of it.
All of it.
The offer has failed. The war now belongs to the defenders because they chose it instead of being pushed. That choice is not safety. It is ownership. The taboo snaps like a snare in the hedgerows. Luna and the Wandmaker vanish into the moving dark around Malfoy Manor. Ollivander's heartbeat is a thin drum. Xenophilius Lovegood sends a raven made of newspaper that disintegrates on the windowsill, leaving one word: taken. The Order's map of safe houses blackens at the edges. Names move, arrows shift. The Order starts saying if instead of when. Aberforth smashes a bottle and then, more usefully, opens the portrait to the tunnel behind the Hog's Head.
You need a knife, sharp enough to cut a house.
They send an elf. Dobby apparates with a crack like a thrown stone. He appears amid marble and malice, blinks enormous eyes, and whispers his name like a truth strong enough to outshout any lie.
Dobby is a free elf.
He brings Harry and Ron and Hermione in behind him, as if they were simply more things he had decided to free. The manor's chandeliers shake. Bellatrix's laughter scrawls along the ceiling. The dungeon door opens to Luna's tranquil face and Ollivander's fragile smile.
Little rat!
Her knife flies. The house groans with command words. Draco hesitates on a landing, soul sliding under his shoes. They get out because love cheats at speed. Dobby folds space as if it were laundry and pops them into cold wind and salt spray. Shell Cottage glows like a hearth. The knife finds him as he turns to grin back toward the dark he beat. He dies on a strip of sand that drinks tears like tide water. Dumbledore lifts him. Even now, with his lungs like wrung cloth from the Dementor's kiss he took at the ministry, he carries the weight of the smallest rescuer as if it were all the weight in the world.
We can't do funeral after funeral.
A life is never a lesser price.
They bury the elf, and Dumbledore gives Harry everything. The Hallows, the Horcruxes, the map of what still must break and what must be left alone. He unpacks his own sins: Grindelwald, Ariana, the sickly sweetness of ambition, into the surf air, where they stop smelling like excuses.
Then we finish the things that can be finished.
Cup, diadem, snake, and one more we can't name yet.
The map brightens, the line straightens. Trust, rebuilt by grief, is a bridge that holds. They draw the plan in ink that refuses to smudge. The premise is simple: bait the warlord into the one place that loves them back.
We make Hogwarts the host.
Roles settle like armor on the right shoulders.
I hold the castle. I will wake what sleeps in it.
We break the cup in her vault.
We get the dragon to sing about vault signatures.
And we don't die.
We find the diadem. It's where lost things go when they want to be found and not found.
I'll keep the DA on their feet.
I will get you a window at the snake.
The time lock is the Phoenix Lattice, a ward Dumbledore can cast only once. It turns every spell into a sigil written in fire on the dome. When the lines overdraw, the dome collapses. The longer you fight with magic, the less of a fortress you have. Ration courage. Supplement with stone. Scoreboard V2 allies. 2 to 4. Order. DA. Centaur sentries. Neutral giants. Intel. 1-3. Wand myths clarified. Vault routes sketched. Artifacts. 0-1. Sword positioned for retrieval. Horcruxes destroyed. 2 to 3 on execution of Cup Diadem plan. They light lanterns along the tunnel to the Hog's Head. Students begin to arrive in 1s and 2s, then in clusters, then like a river that remembered its course. The castle hums underfoot, waking.
When the lattice rises, spend nothing you don't have to. Live to swing a sword.
The plan clicks shut like a warded box. It will hold until it is opened by the only keys that matter: courage, timing, and the warlord's arrogance. Dawn bleeds slow over Black Lake. The towers catch light like blades. Students stand in rows that look like classes until you see the jawlines. Professors take positions as if they were setting exams. The forest licks the edge of sight with moving shadow. The field ahead flickers with dark figures gathering. Dumbledore lifts his wand. The borrowed ash wand hums without love. He does not ask it to love him. He asks the castle instead. The Phoenix Sigil field rises. Flame unfolds into a dome over Hogwarts, not burning, but writing. Every incantation will leave a glyph hanging in the air, thin as ice on a puddle, shining like chalk on glass. The dome will note excess, punish indulgence, reward precision. The cost of waste will be the roof over their heads.
Hogwarts, awake.
Stone moves. Suits of armor grind into a march. The greenhouses flex their glass to become inches of shield. The viaduct thickens at the joints. Windows narrow. Stairways knit themselves into switchbacks. The boathouse doors lock with the sound of a hammer finding a nail.
DA, eyes.
Remember the names we gave the hallways.
The first wave hits like weather. Greyback's pack skims the edge of the forbidden forest, testing the line with teeth and laughter that sounds like broken glass. Giants test the dome with thrown boulders the size of family cars. The rocks strike and bloom into bright runes. The dome drinks the impact and turns it to light. Grawp rises in answer with a boulder in each hand and a grin like a child who has found a game. He throws back. The runes flare and settle. Lead looks like this. The defenders using precisely as much power as they need, and not an inch more. Inside the castle, corridors become funnels. Fred and George's legacy detonates at carefully measured points, dropping prank-turned shrapnel, nets that grow heavier the more you struggle, stair treads that turn to grips when allies step, to ice when enemies run. Filch cackles in a way that suggests redemption is simply having your talents used for the right side.
Hogwarts has teeth.
Then bite.
Harry, Ron, Hermione slide through the room of requirements, shifting more. Luna is with them, listening to the room like a beekeeper listens to a hive. The diadem hangs above a mountain of lost things, glinting with a sick charm. Basilisk fangs clatter in Ron's sack. Hermione speaks clean spells in a voice that does not shake. Outside, Voldemort's presence expands. He has opened Dumbledore's old office like a thief at a reliquary. He took the Elder Wand from a tomb that never should have been so easy to crack. The wand hates him, and he cannot tell why. He decides the dome is to blame. He decides Dumbledore is always to blame.
Old man, old tricks.
The fire line roars under synchronized fiend fire, released by the Carrows and directed by Voldemort's will into serpents of malignant flame. The dome drinks flame until the sigils strain, lines spiderwebbing toward collapse. At the viaduct, Bellatrix advances with a squad that moves like her shadow. She pries open a crack with curse work that stains stone. Inside the breach, Fred Weasley laughs at something George whispers through a speaking coin, then stops laughing as the world buckles near him. McGonagall summons stone lions that leap roaring into the gap, turning falling into landing for a dozen students. Fred breathes. Cost tallied. Debt deferred.
Hold your spells. Live to swing a sword.
A corridor duel writes a page of runes so dense the dome hiccups. Dumbledore senses the impending tear like a coming storm. He moves to the boathouse because the pattern tells him a betrayal or a sacrifice always happens where water meets wood. Snape waits there, eyes black pools, throat already mapped by prophecy for a wound. Voldemort steps in, with calm more frightening than rage.
The wand resists, then the wand is foolish. You killed its master. Die for it.
Nagini strikes. The serpent's cage, a floating shield, descends like a bell. Snape's blood paints the planks. Harry watches through a crack in the wood, gut a fist. Snape pulls him forward, dumps memories into his hands, and spends his last words like coins put into the right slot.
Look at me and remember the forest.
Harry runs because now he finally knows. He is a Horcrux that isn't supposed to be, and the fastest way to smash the last wall is to let the wrecking ball hit him square. Dumbledore sees the boy move and does not stop him. Ethos number 4. Consent over command. The gatekeeper opens his hand. The forest receives Harry like a church that accepts all sinners because it knows everyone is one. Voldemort fires the curse that has dragged his soul across 7 sins. The world stops. The silver flame, love's contra-magic, ripples outward, invisible and absolute. It sheaths the phoenix sigil field in argent. The collapsing lines strengthen without consuming the rune work. The dome steadies. In the great hall, the lie about Harry's death is brief and tactical. Narcissa Malfoy asks a whisper into a boy's ear, and hears the truth that will let her save her own. She lies for life. The defenders fall back, as ordered. Voldemort processes toward triumph.
I've been practicing for this.
The sword of Gryffindor drops into Neville's hand, like it has been waiting specifically for the way he treats shy plants. He cuts Nagini's head with a motion so precise it leaves the air a fraction cleaner. The last external Horcrux dies. The hall hears the sound of a future unclenching. Dumbledore steps forward before the whole school, robes scorched, hair singed, eyes still with that damned twinkle that says he sees something to love even now.
Yield, thief.
The wand is not yours to command,
he explains without flourish. Draco disarmed him on the tower. Mastery moved. The wand in Voldemort's fist is a stolen crown that refuses the head. Harry later took Draco's wand by force of skill and will. The allegiance belongs to the boy. No trick, just rules.
The wand knows.
Avada Kedavra.
Expelliarmus.
Green screams out. Red snaps up. The sigil field's phoenix flares. Lines draw themselves mid-air into the Hallows Triangle without anyone willing it. Not a summoning, but an equation written by history. The killing curse rebounds through the geometry of broken ownership. It unknits the soul tethers that made the warlord tall. He falls, not with a bang, but like a pyramid losing its cornerstone. A terrible logic concluding.
Mine.
Silence, except for feathers of ash drifting down. The dome gutters. The sky looks like a ceiling you can trust again. Students sob. Professors allow themselves to sit. The suits of armor stand at attention, and then, one by one, bow to the children who asked them to move. Dumbledore lowers his wand. It feels like a stick. He smiles at it anyway.
Go on then. Sleep.
The castle breathes out. Morning finds Hogwarts with its hair scorched and its pulse steady. The first act of the new world is mercy, because if you don't start with it, you may never get to it. Draco Malfoy stands trembling beside a mother who lied beautifully to save a life. Some want blood. Harry stands between Draco and that desire like a shield you can argue with.
He lowered his wand once when it mattered. We are not the kind of victors who don't remember that.
Mercy is the shape of the world we wish to live in.
Narcissa testifies in a clean room with sun on the table. The Wizengamot stumbles toward decency like someone learning to walk again. The Carrows are dragged in, sneering. Dementors hover outside the glass like vultures that remember privileges they no longer have. McGonagall's mouth is a straight line that brooks no exceptions.
Prison, trial, no kiss.
Precedent reasserts itself as a better god than terror. Appointments are written with quills that shake only a little. Kingsley Shacklebolt becomes minister and looks like he was carved for the office out of something strong. McGonagall accepts headmistress as if she had always had the keys and simply refused to jingle them. Flitwick takes deputy with a smile that hints at the feasts he will supervise, where laughter replaces hysteria. A portrait of Severus Snape appears in a corridor students don't wander, unless they're lost on purpose. It is not in the headmaster's office. It is near the potions classroom. It does not invite spitting or flowers. It invites remembering, which is harder. Hagrid negotiates borders with giants who would rather be left alone, and centaurs who treat treaties like constellations. Goblins renegotiate vault law with Bill Weasley watching like a hawk who knows how to count coins and promises. The Elder Wand hums in Harry's fingers like a captured storm. Dumbledore stands beside him on a parapet that feels unafraid again.
A temptation wisely buried is still a temptation.
Then we stop building temptations.
They make a plan that puts the wand back where it can harm no one and tempt fewer. The Hallows story turns from recruitment poster to cautionary tale.
Class resumes Monday.
The redrawn map of Britain shows fewer skulls and more kettles on. It has one ember left at the edge. Rumors of magic traveling to places it has no business going. Whispers of wands without masters. It flickers. The world is never done being unruly. That is what makes it worth tending.
Then we start living in it.
They do. That is the shape of a living Dumbledore at the last stand. A lie bent toward mercy, a castle taught to burn without devouring itself, and a wand that refused the wrong hand. If this canon-rooted "what if" stirred your inner prefect or rebel, lend us your wand. Like, share, subscribe, and name the next hinge in the comments. The war room opens again soon. What if Snape trusted Harry and revealed everything in Year 6? Bring your best lore, we'll bring the fire.